Hey, it's Rhett Nelson with EastIdahoNews.com, and I am in studio today with an Emmy award-winning actor. This is Jace Chapman.
Hello.
And he is in a show on Netflix. You may have seen it. It's called The Healing Powers of Dude.
Yes, sir.
There's one season up with 8 episodes on right now that you can stream right now. But he has ties here to Idaho Falls. You're here visiting your grandma. This is Dana Lee, his grandma.
And Grandpa, he's here with his grandpa too. So Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah, they're both alive.
Thank you for coming to our studio today, Jace.
Oh, thank you.
Being willing to chat with us. Let's talk about, you just in October won an Emmy for your role here. Well, actually, before we get into that, let's tell people about The Healing Powers of Dude. This is a show about, from what I understand, you're a kid who has social anxiety.
Yes.
And you start public school for the first time, and your parents in the show give you this emotional support dog. Talk about your involvement in the show. How was the whole acting, filming process? Tell us about how that works a little bit.
Okay, it was probably the best 3 months of my life. It was amazing. Every day I'd wake up, they'd send a van over to our hotel, our apartment. I brought my whole family up so that they could, this was a team process. They came with me to California, so I wanted to take them to Canada. So a couple days, they would come onto set with me. But mostly it was just me and my dad. We'd get in the van that they sent and we'd head up to the studio and we would start filming the scenes. I'd memorize the scenes on the fly as we were driving in the van. We'd get there. There was a delicious breakfast, lunch. It was amazing. But the best part was just being on set and acting. Working with a dog, they say don't work with kids or dogs. I worked with both. I was a kid. It was great. Yeah. And I've never had a pet, but that dog, Murphy was his actual name. The closest I've ever come to one. We got a real strong bond.
The show is kind of interesting because, as I was saying, your character, you have social anxiety disorder. And in today's world, things like that, social anxiety disorder, depression, mental illness, that seems to be an increasing trend among teens and kids and even adults.
Our world is crazy, it's violent and dangerous right now, and everyone is feeling anxious, depressed. But there are some who have a high level of social anxiety disorder. It's an actual disorder, they're diagnosed with it. So I played Noah, who had social anxiety disorder. He had an intense fear of communicating and socializing with other people. And I've never had that, but I know people who experience it and who are diagnosed with it, so I talked to them, and that's how I portrayed it, and it really opened my eyes to the world of mental illness and social anxiety. And what's really amazing is after the show came out, many people messaged me and said, I showed this to my 7-year-old son, to my kids my age, messaged me, they said this helped me so much. Even adults, they're like, hey man, this show really helped me. Great to see us being shown in the film industry, thank you. And that was really touching. I think it's just great to show light on these issues.
So it's a show that kind of resonates with people a little bit because that's such a prevalent issue.
Oh yeah.
Today. So in October, I started to mention this earlier, you won an Emmy.
I did, yeah.
What was that like?
The craziest thing in my entire life. I won an Emmy. I still...
So proud of you, Jace.
I still say it to myself every day. It's crazy. I won an Emmy. We were in Mexico. My family and I were in Mexico. We were sailing around in our sailing yacht. When COVID started, we had always wanted to sail, and so we wanted to get away from the U.S. from the spread of COVID. So we started sailing in Mexico, and while we were down there, we got a message from my manager saying, Jace has been considered for an Emmy. Do you accept the nomination, and would you be willing to go to the live stream, go to the virtual event, because it was right in the midst of COVID, so they had a virtual event.
Okay.
You could have flown up to LA, but it's just an empty room. So I figured it'd be better to experience it with my family. So we all went up to a room in Mexico and we streamed it, and it was the most amazing thing in my entire life. I didn't think I was gonna win it. There were 5 other people, 5 other nominees, all adults, older than me. I'm still amazed that I won it. I talked to all of them in the pre-room. We're all telling each other, good luck. Hey, I watched your show, it was amazing. Thank you so much, I watched yours. And it was the most nervous I've ever been. I cannot even explain it. It was so nerve-wracking. But yeah, they announced Jace Chapman won the Emmy, and I just started crying, yelling thank you, give a thank you speech, thanks to everyone who ever helped me in my life. It was amazing, man.
So do you have a special place in your house that you put it?
Funny story about that. We were in Mexico and we didn't have an address per se because we were sailing all around. So the Emmy trophy was sent to Grandma's house.
And I unwrapped it. I unpacked it. We got them on a video stream, unpacked it, pulled it out, and I held it for them to see. And he has not held it yet.
I have not held the Emmy.
It's not at our house anymore. It's in storage,
It's
waiting
in a storage
for him.
unit, yeah. So I have not held it yet.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's fantastic.
Thanks, man.
14 years old at the
14.
time?
Yeah, 14.
14-year-old kid, and you got this Emmy.
Yeah, so
Bragging
blessed,
rights
man.
for life.
I know, yeah, that's crazy.
So let's go back. Talk about, you hit on a few things there. You mentioned you were on a boat with your family, which I want to get to.
Okay.
But I want to talk about, how did you get started in acting?
I always wanted to be a performer. My parents are extremely supportive, exquisitely, I'm so lucky to have them. So basically, to anyone who wants to get started and follow my path, this is what I did. I searched online for auditions. There are open casting calls, which anyone could go to. You just film yourself doing the audition, doing the sides, and send them in. You don't have to have an agent or a manager. That's what I did for a while, until I saw one hosted by a talent agency. Seattle Talent in Utah. Seattle in Utah. That's just their name. So I went to this talent search. There were a bunch of other kids. It was a lot of fun. We just performed for the people, and they saw those that they liked and those that they were going to pass on. Thankfully, that was the second most nervous I've ever been, even though it had a much smaller amount of importance than the Emmy, just because that was the first major step in my acting career, getting signed with that talent agency. So I did get signed with them. Then they sent me to IMTA, International Models and Talent Association, hosted annually in LA and New York. My dad flew up with me to New York, amazing parents. And that was a crazy experience in and of itself. It was a huge skyscraper with multiple floors of competitions. And you go in and you sign a bunch of boxes for whatever you want to do. So there's modeling, there's dancing, there's singing, there's acting, I think there's even painting. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but there may be. It's just artistry of all forms. So I signed up for all the acting competitions, meaning cold reads, meaning very short one-liners that are really cringy, but you deliver them the best you can. So I think mine was, it's so hard, the line was, it's so hard to be this handsome or something like that. I just thought that's the most manipulative. And so I don't want to be narcissistic, but everyone else was going, it's so hard to be so handsome. And I wanted it to go for a crazy person take on it. So I went, it's so hard to be so handsome! I just went all out and screamed into the mic. Yeah. Yeah.
And they loved it.
They loved it.
Have you had any roles prior to
No,
Healing
not prior.
Powers?
Oh, yeah. Many prior to that. Nothing prior to IMTA. But after IMTA, I booked my manager. We signed on with each other, hired each other, and then we went and started finding agents, started auditioning for agents. I found the agency that I wanted to go with, a great all-female agency. They are bulldogs. They're amazing people. And I started going to auditions, and the first thing I got was called Bunny Bravo, The Adventures of Bunny Bravo, a very short, low-budget film, animated live-action film. It was a lot of fun. I have one line in it, but that's what really got me hooked on acting. That was my first taste of set life and acting. And so I had a rush of adrenaline. I had tasted the sugar. I wanted more. So, but the thing about acting is there's so much rejection involved. It's so painful, and so you just have to gain a temperance to it. You know, you get used to the rejection. So I've booked some things. I've booked a lot of stuff, but I've not booked a lot more. I've auditioned for way more things than I've actually booked. So that you know, takes a lot of mental endurance and strength and, you know, motivation. And my dad was there for me the entire time, you know, just gonna keep going. We made a promise to each other. He would drive the 6 hours or however, you know, with the traffic, it was a crazy long commute. He would drive the entire time to the audition place, and I would give it my all to book it, my all to the audition. And we made that pact with each other. We did not miss a single audition for 6 months, and I booked numerous other things along the way. Show Schooled on ABC, a guest star on that, a guest star on Sydney to the Max, another couple of projects, and then that's when I got HPod, the Healing Powers of Dude.
That's actually quite impressive. A lot of kids, they say they want to be a movie star or they want to be an actor.
Yeah.
But, you know, how many kids actually look for an audition
That's true.
and
Yeah.
get it? So that's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have an adventurous life because you said your family lives on a boat.
Yeah.
How did that start?
Crazy story as well. So I touched on it earlier. My dad grew up on the water. As I said before, Grandma and Grandpa, they lived in Guam. My grandpa was a whaleboat captain and scuba diving instructor. He would bring my dad with him. And so my dad had a love of the water at a young age, and it stayed with him his entire life up until 2020, where, you know, the world broke down because of the pandemic. And so we decided we wanted to get out of the US. We didn't want anyone in our family to contract COVID. So we decided to act upon our dreams. We got a sailing yacht, and he had some prior experience with sailing, so we took a few classes, we read a few books, and then we took off as a family. Everything went well. We actually went down in hurricane season, which may not have been the smartest idea, but we looked ahead, and there were no hurricanes within a 100-mile radius.
So where are you from originally?
I was born in Utah. I've lived all over. I lived in the Ukraine for 4 years, which is crazy what's happening right now. Wow. So sad. Wow. Yeah. I've lived all over the U.S. My family just loves to travel, runs in the genes.
And you've lived on a boat now for a couple of years?
2 years, exactly, yeah. 2020 to 2022.
And so what is that like?
It's amazing, man. As a kid, one of my fears was kind of the ocean, just, you know, the huge depth beneath you. Being on the boat completely quelled that fear. I was in the water every single day, scrubbing the hull, which is my least favorite chore. You know, it's full of barnacles and algae, and you just scrub it all. I got really good at free diving. I can hold my breath for 2 minutes now, I believe was my last count. Oh, nice. Yeah, wow. Thank you. You just, being on a boat connects you to nature and connects you to the water and builds a very strong bond between you and your family. We had a 56 sailing yacht, so we were all together. I have 4 younger siblings and my parents, so 7 members. Us all together really strengthened our bond in such tight quarters. We relied upon each other a lot. That's where I feel I matured as a man, because there were a lot of moments that, you know, I would sit up and take a shift on night watch with my parents. I would steer the boat, I would set the sails. And so it's just an all-in-all amazing experience. It matured me, brought me closer to my family, and brought me closer to Earth and Mother Nature.
Here you are now.
Here I am.
This show, I understand, has not been renewed.
It has not.
So
no.
You just got the one
just
season.
one season, yeah.
But do you have any roles coming up?
I do. Be watching for 2023. 2 movies coming out. I can't say anything about them now. Contract, but be watching. The markets are open. Dana
Lee, your grandson is now an actor.
Crazy.
Do you have any words of wisdom for him?
Oh, before words of wisdom, his dad has been praised and praised and praised in this interview here. And we got to do a shout out to your mom.
Yes.
The real hero here.
Gosh,
I mean, your
that's
dad
so
is
true.
amazing, but your mom.
My mom is a trooper.
Yeah. Yeah, all the time you would be going to auditions, your mom's like handling
the entire
other
time.
kids. And on a sailboat.
Oh my gosh, my mom's amazing. Yeah.
She's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, words of wisdom, no words. He doesn't need anything. He does have amazing parents who actually are giving the same type of attention to the other 4 kids with their passions.
Yes.
Their varying passions. And so he has amazing parents and he has drive. He is a hard worker, which is part of why he came to Idaho.
That's true.
Yeah, to get some work on land.
Yeah, being on the boat, it was too lackadaisical, too beautiful, too much paradise, and so I came to Idaho to help Grandma and Grandpa with their yard, with their with their house.
Yeah, he kind of talked his way out of doing weeding today, but there's plenty of weeding to be done in our yard in Idaho, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
It's nice. You got the glamour in front of the camera, and then you come home and
the sweat and the blood and the tears behind the camera.
Do some work and some real stuff a little bit. While you're here for the summer.
I'm here for the summer.
Until the school year starts.
Yes.
Anything you want to experience while you're here?
Let's see. I definitely want to go camping again. The outdoors here. I told Grandpa the last time we got to go camping every month. Anything I want to specifically experience beside that here? I'm here to work, but also to build bonds with Grandma and Grandpa and the rest of my extended family. So mainly the thing is to spend a lot of quality time with my relatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's called The Healing Powers of Dude. It's on Netflix. We'll have some more information in an article below this video. I'm Rhett Nelson. Thanks for watching.